Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com. We have a great show today, but before we get to that, I wanted to remind you of a few things. We have 2 great books on Amazon that will help you get the Big Four job that you deserve, and I've included links to those books in the show notes. Additionally, I wanted to remind everyone to make sure that they subscribe to this podcast to stay up to date on the latest Big Four news and career tips. Also, make sure to share the show with a friend if you get a chance. Lastly, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll include links to all our social media in the show notes. Thanks and enjoy the show. I want to spend some time today to go over a specific position in the Big Four that I receive a lot of questions about. I wanted to talk about tax lawyers and what they do. Many people are interested in being tax lawyers because they hear about them on TV and they hear how they save people millions of dollars on taxes. They also think that tax lawyers get a cut of those millions, so they want to get in on that. But what do tax lawyers do? First off, many people consider being a tax lawyer, but they aren't sure what they do. When someone is considering being a lawyer, they often think of going up in front of court and arguing a case. They think of TV shows like Law and Order, or nowadays it's a TV show like Suits. People also think of huge corporate lawyers that just settle huge cases like the lawyer in the TV show Billions. People also want to join a huge law firm in New York City and make a huge salary, but they aren't really sure what they'll be doing. And one possibility is to be a tax lawyer. It's often overlooked because people do not like taxes, but tax lawyers can do really well for themselves. At the outset, many tax lawyers can make up to $100,000 as an associate at a Big Four accounting firm, and many tax lawyers end up making $400,000 or more as tax directors of companies. A tax lawyer wants to be a principal at a Big Four accounting firm, they can make in excess of $1 million. And I say principal and not partner because most tax lawyers don't have their CPA. And it becomes especially lucrative for tax lawyers if they get the LLM designation with a specialization in tax. So why do tax lawyers make so much money? This is because many CFOs and CEOs don't want anything other than a tax lawyer running their tax department. They feel that tax lawyers know the tax law and they know how to support tax positions. They know that tax accountants might know the financial numbers, but they feel that tax lawyers will actually understand the tax positions. They feel comfortable that if a tax position is challenged, that a tax lawyer will be able to defend it better than a tax accountant would. Now, is that actually true? I don't think so. I think tax accountants make for better professionals than tax lawyers. Tax lawyers normally only want to get into the legal side of tax, and they don't focus on the accounting side at all. But being that most CFOs and CEOs only care about financial numbers, I think tax accountants are more valuable. So what does a tax lawyer do? Tax lawyers can do just about anything that a tax professional does. They can be a regular tax accountant looking at the numbers in financial statements or tax returns. And they can also work on the legal and research side of tax. This includes sorting through the tax returns of a target company, but another major responsibility of a tax lawyer during due diligence in a mergers and acquisition is to read through any major tax position that the target company might have and tell the buyer whether it is a strong position. This often depends on if the tax position reaches the more likely than not threshold. Tax lawyers are also responsible for tax research, whether they are an accounting firm or not. Tax lawyers went to school to learn how to research law. Therefore, they make for excellent tax researchers. Their research abilities are used primarily in writing tax opinions. This includes writing opinions for tax positions that their clients or their company takes in any given tax year. Sometimes these tax opinions cover hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars of tax benefits. So people want to make sure that someone very familiar with the law is doing the research and writing the opinion that might ultimately be settled in court. Much of today's tax advantages come from international structuring to avoid taxes. In order to take advantage of this structuring, you not only have to be versed in U.S. tax law, but you must also be versed in international tax laws and treaties. Lawyers are more familiar with legal structures and treaties than people that went to school to become accountants and CPAs. An example of an entity that conducted significant international restructuring was Caterpillar, And PwC did that restructuring for them. And as you might know, if you follow our blog, that PwC got in a lot of trouble over that, even though they probably had a lot of tax lawyers on that. That's an example of a tax planning position that tax lawyers would help with. So what makes tax lawyers so coveted? Tax lawyers are seen as very smart people, just like any other lawyer. They went to school for much longer and have knowledge about the law, just like any other lawyer. So, as you know, lawyers come with prestige just because they're seen as scholarly and smart. And tax is also all about law, since the tax code is a law. And tax law is some of the most complex and convoluted law there is. So the skills of a tax lawyer are respected heavily in accounting. In addition, tax lawyers are needed to support important tax positions, as we stated before. Extensive research and vetting needs to be performed when millions or billions of dollars of tax are on the line. Lawyers are specialized in research and writing necessary to support those positions. And if a position is challenged by the IRS, legal action might be required to support the position. Lawyers are required to defend tax positions, so it is once again important to have a tax lawyer if you need to defend a tax position in court. In conclusion, tax lawyers are very important people in the tax accounting world, and they are coveted because they can do anything because tax lawyers conduct everything from beginning to end. They conduct the initial research for the writing of the opinion, they write the opinion, and they can ultimately defend the opinion in court. Additionally, they can specialize in tax returns and tax accounting just like a CPA could. So that's why tax lawyers are so coveted. Additionally, many CFOs and many CEOs will not settle for anything other than a tax lawyer to be their tax director. So is a tax lawyer a good career option? Yes, I definitely think so. And whether or not you want to spend the time doing that to make the extra money and have the more additional career options is up to you. It's a cost benefit. It is definitely worth it though if you enjoy accounting and if you enjoy taxes, just because it does get you the ability to become a tax director should you choose to do that one day. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and share it with a friend.